This is where Rome begins its day. You're waking up to Good Morning Rome with Elizabeth Davis on Talk Radio WLAQ.
Heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town.
All right. Well, you're listening to Good Morning Rome, Talk Radio WLAQ AM 1410. We're online with the program, WLAQ1410.com. And our time now is 8:30. We got a special guest in the studio. Whoa! We got a special guest in the studio that joins me now. Local attorney David Guldenschuh is here, and he is about to make a big donation to Locks for Love in honor of his daughter, Carmen, who is a two-time cancer survivor and bone marrow transplant recipient. Now, I have known Carmen, I've known David since probably I was a baby. I've known Carmen, and I'm a little bit older than she is. I've known her since she was a preschooler, and I'll tell you what, it is amazing to see the progress that she's made in the couple of decades of her life. And I think your story is absolutely touching, and I want to hear that story. But before we do that, you're going to be, saw you last night at the ballpark, you said you're going to make this donation to Locks for Love tomorrow.
That's right. Tomorrow at 4:45 at Bliss Salon, my salon hairstylist, Donna Lilly, will cut what has now been 2 years of hair growth. I started out thinking I could do it in a year, but it's taken two. A couple of years ago, Carmen came to me, and her friends from the kids' cancer camp had all grown their hair out and donated it to Locks of Love, and Carmen's hair's too thin to do that. So she asked me if, she calls me Papa. She said, Papa, would you grow yours out for me? I have big old thick hair. So thinking I could do it in probably a year's time, I did, but it's taken two. My hair's gone from probably 60%, 40% dark to gray to about 80% gray during the process. So I'm really anxious to get rid of it. It's been fun having to explain to every single judge I go in front of in court in Northwest Georgia that I'm not some liberal, crazy lawyer from Atlanta, but really a conservative guy who's growing my hair out for my daughter.
Absolutely, and this is a really touching story. Matter of fact, you were telling me, and I think, I was in my last couple of years at St. Mary's. That's how I originally know you, my connection to St. Mary's. But I remember first hearing of this story my last couple of years at St. Mary's, and when I was in high school. I know the Rome News followed your story. Carmen was pretty young when she was initially diagnosed with leukemia.
Yeah, Carmen was first diagnosed, she was 4 years old in 1989, and she got 2.5 years of treatment and relapsed in 1991. And so at that point, the only cure was a bone marrow transplant. And she did not have a match within the family. So really kind of everybody in Rome came together. The story got out. They started doing bone marrow drives in Rome. The bone marrow registry was very new back then, and they were doing searches every week to find somebody. And then in it took about 8 or 9 months, but we found there was a lady up in Minnesota, single mom, who matched, or was a close enough match. And so we ended up going up to Milwaukee in July of 1992, where Carmen got her transplant. And during that whole 1992 year, the Rome News Tribune had covered the story. They were getting updates. They got the good news and the bad news, because we almost lost Carmen a couple of times. And then at the end of the year, that was the same year there was the fight over the forum and where to put the forum, and there was a lot of political mischief going on in town. But the readers of Rome voted Carmen's story the top story of the year for the Rome News Tribune, which was really neat. That's really awesome. Now let me ask you this, because like I said, I've known Carmen since she was a preschooler. How old is she now? Believe it or not, Carmen is 28. She's in heart and spirit and body, she may be 15 or 16 because she did have some side effects from the transplant. Maturity-wise, she's more mature than me. Yeah, I was going to say, somebody that young that goes through something like that tends to be light years ahead of others in terms of maturity. She really is. I've seen her. We had a situation where if we go to a hospital, there's something that kicks in with her, and she can take the smartest brain surgeon in the world and drill him 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about? And they just look at her. She's such a tiny little thing. She's only 5 feet tall and weighs 95 pounds, and they're amazed. But she is a very special miracle child that lives today because so many people in Rome said so many prayers for her. And it's been 20 years, and I've never really had a chance to just say thank you to everyone in Rome. And so let me use this opportunity to say to all of your listeners and all of those people we sent letters to every church in Rome asking them to put her on their prayer list, and I've got a file here of tons of responses. So let me just say thank you to each and every one of you. You've been in my prayers, and I appreciate Carmen's here today because of you.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. I want to talk more about Carmen in just a moment, but I do want to mention that Carmen has a twin sister.
Yes, she does.
And
Christina.
I remember Christina, too. How is she?
Christina's fantastic. She attended the University of Georgia, graduated, has become gone through postgraduate school. She's an anesthesiologist assistant. She lives in Atlanta and works at Gwinnett Medical Center there. She, I think because of Carmen's illness, wanted to do something in the medical field, and so she's turned out doing this.
You know what I wanted to mention, because when I remember when I first got to know Carmen and Christina, I was helping out with the preschool, the pre-K, after school care, after school care at St. Mary's. I was in 7th grade at the time, and I remember that they were just inseparable. When Carmen went through all that stuff, that must have been really difficult for Christina as well.
It was, and Christina has been a model big sister to Carmen, even though there's all of 19 minutes difference in their birth. And they have a very unique, wonderful relationship. And the two of them and I have a very unique, wonderful relationship. And, you never plan your life out the way that it happens. And even if I had it to do over, I would not want them to have to experience what they've experienced. But I do have to cherish every minute of my life and thank God every minute of every day for giving me those two young ladies. They are really special.
Oh, that's really awesome. You had some other stuff that you wanted to share with us here on the show, just memories of your journey. If we got a couple of minutes, if there's anything in particular.
Thank you. Like I said, Carmen's story is a great story. Carmen and I have embarked on writing a book about it all. Carmen had a lot of side effects that came about as a result of this, and so like she wasn't able to go to college. She basically taught herself to read using a talking dictionary to learn the words. She is a child of, or a young woman now, of incredible perseverance and a role model for all of us. She is kind of adding little things from time to time to the book about her experiences personally, and I'm kind of doing a big portion of it. But there was one section that I pulled out, and it just has to do with some of the things you experience when you go through this. This was a letter that I wrote to my sister trying to help her understand what we were going through. And it's just a couple of things, and I'll try not to overdo it, but a couple of things that I asked her in this letter. I said, have you ever had to close the door to your child's hospital room one evening as they wheeled the body of her best friend from the next room with parents crying, and then tell your child the next day they let her friend go home last night? Can you imagine going to your daughter's room one morning, and as she lies so innocently sleeping in her bed, you see that all of her hair has fallen out from the night before on the pillow? Try doing that 5 times. Have you ever had to answer the question, Papa, what did I do to make God angry? Can you imagine trying to sleep as you lie next to your child, listening to the moans of pains, etc.? Anyway, it's tragic what you as a family experience going through this. And the thing that I would say, first of all, to anybody who is experiencing this, I'm on Facebook. Feel free to call me. I'll walk you through the steps. But secondly, this is a story that has a really wonderful ending. Carmen came through. She persevered. She's a soldier. She is working on a singing career. And Angela Flanagan over at Music Work has done wonderful things. She's met a lot of famous people, Tom Cruise and others who have offered to help. She's a really special kid, and I'm I'm a lucky parent.
I know you are. I know you are. Now, you were telling me that you have a Facebook page where you kind of recount all of these memories and kind of give updates on what's going on. What is that Facebook page?
Well, it's just under my name, David Guldenschuh. It's pretty simple. Guldenschuh.
Not a bad idea to tell them how to spell that. No doubt about that.
Yeah, and we do. I try to go through and I tell a little bit of the story and the pictures. They're there, and every week there's some interaction between Carmen and I that gives me some little nugget to toss out there. And I've gotten a lot of feedback of late from people who hopefully get something out of it. And so if we can do that with her story, it's fantastic.
As somebody who remembers these guys when they were kids and watching them grow up and watching her be such a tough, resilient young lady, and the same goes for her sister, just in terms, and all of you guys, in terms of the support that you provided. You guys have really stuck together. It's a truly inspirational story. And again, we've been chatting this morning, or this segment, with David Guldenschuh. He is a local attorney. That's what we're not focused on right now. We're focused on his daughter right now, Carmen, a 2-time cancer survivor, bone marrow transplant recipient. And in honor of her, tomorrow, David will get all his hair chopped off and donate it to Locks of Love, and I think that is fantastic.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate the opportunity to tell the story.
I was going to say the timing couldn't be any more perfect, because before you know it, it's going to be 100 degrees outside. You're going to be glad you had that haircut.
I'm ready to get it cut. Believe me, I'm ready.
No doubt about it. Thanks so much for your time, David. Well, keep me posted, and take pictures. Put them on that Facebook page of yours.
They'll be there tomorrow.
This is where Rome begins its day. You're waking up to Good Morning Rome with Elizabeth Davis on Talk Radio WLAQ.